Shalom Yasharala. This is Yeshaya back at you with another Car Chronicle. In this one, I wanted to discuss something that happened at camp this week that made me think I like the way we handled it. But in general, Israel doesn't handle that same type situation the same way we handle it. I'm not saying that we handled it exactly the way it's supposed to be. I'm not saying that there's a science to it, but it's a simple thing. A brother came out of nowhere. I guess he was kind of listening on the side, and he was like, "Hey, do y'all believe in Jesus?" Or, "Yo, do y'all believe in Jesus?" Now, had he approached a lot of other camps, it would have been met with a definite unpleasant. They wouldn't have been as pleasant. They would have been checking him on the way he. And in all reality, I couldn't fault a camp if they would have said, you're not supposed to just cut people off. You gotta say excuse me. But in all honesty, we can lose people that way. Everybody that comes by the camp isn't going to be well-mannered, well-educated, and go about things the proper way. Sometimes you have people that have been raised just rude, and they are sincere coming to the camp. They don't know about order and structure. And to be honest, you're not going to give them order and structure if you stop them and say, "Yo, you're supposed to say excuse me." Like, the way the brothers handled it, they just answered his question, and just went on teaching. Because sometimes I've seen it become the topic of the camp. I've seen literally we had to stop doing, fire ass teaching because we got to sit here and address somebody that just is rude, not because they're rude on the what am I trying to say? It wasn't that the person was disrespectful rude. They were just not they just didn't know how to go about it. You got people like the brother has been locked up. So it wouldn't have been right to have said, "Yo, you don't know how to say excuse me?" Or something to that effect. People sometimes just don't have manners. And it's not that they, like I said, it's not that they are intentionally rude. It's one thing where a nigga just come out of nowhere and just be rude on purpose. He wasn't that. He was just, he wanted to get a question answered, and he just didn't really do it the way we generally, go about it or want people to go about it. Didn't say excuse me. Didn't, he just kind of well, like I said, he didn't go about it the right way. But we waste time in this truth, being teachers of the word, by giving people a hard time when they ask questions that are, perhaps genuine. In his case, he was, I believe, and we believe that he was genuine. He said that he supports us. Again, he definitely doesn't have the manners that we generally would like to be addressed with. Typically you say excuse me, but again, the man had been locked up. It's not like he's necessarily well educated. You know what I mean? And I'm not knocking people that have been locked up, but in jail, it's not like when you're in jail or in prison you're gonna fucking learn manners. That's the last thing you're gonna learn when you locked up. And we have to, and the thing is, we have to learn to address everybody. We have to become, just like Paul said, become all things to all men. Now that man didn't have manners, but he was supportive. He was respectful. His intentions were respectful. He actually gave us respect. You know what I mean? He spoke to us and said he supports us. Now, whether or not he's going to take that support and become a servant of the Lord full-fledged, we don't know. But just the encouragement was beautiful. You know what I mean? And like I said, we could have lost that encouragement. It could have turned into a shouting match if we would have handled it the way a lot of Israelite camps handle similar situations. Because I could tell you definitely 150%, a lot of, I don't want to say names, but I've seen it happen at camp. We have to learn how to engage the people, and every time you engage people, you don't always have you got people that might interrupt you while you're speaking. You're trying to teach a lesson, like what happened this week when the guy said, "Yo, y'all believe in Jesus?" Or another one, I think he was Issachar or whatever. I forgot. He was wearing yellow. Oh no, he was he was from Uruguay. And he kind of was stopping to kind of give us kudos, and we had to kind of stop him respectfully because we were teaching a lesson. But like I said, a lot of other Israelite camps would have said something out the way, or just something a little disrespectful, or something to basically tell him he was being rude. And it a lot of times it becomes a shouting match and takes away from the word when somebody might be genuinely trying to give respect. You know what I mean? So I definitely like and love the way we handled it, and we need to see more of that in Israel. Because we talk to people like they're supposed to walk up already knowing and doing the right thing. We have to understand. Just like when you're teaching at camp and somebody doesn't agree. Everybody that comes to camp and doesn't agree is not a scoffer. You just don't know. So many lies have been taught in this society. Can you really get mad when somebody even questions the truth? I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. I didn't come in the truth right away. I learned about the truth, and still decided to go with Pan-Africanism and Islam later on, and Nubianism. And somehow the Lord reeled me into the truth. And now all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. I'm a better man because of it. That's how we do in this faith, man. We have to become better men, and we have to be patient with our people. You go out there in the streets and teach, and like I said, people are uneducated, because that's really what rude is. Rude isn't, a lot of times we mentally mix the words rude and disrespectful. Somebody that comes up to camp and doesn't say excuse me is rude, but they're not necessarily trying to be disrespectful. Rude just means base, simple. You know what I mean? Rude is just like they don't know no better. Disrespectful people can be rude, but they require more of an ass whooping, whether it's verbal or spiritual or physical. You know what I mean? But somebody that's just regular rude, just, in a sense that don't know no better, and they, uneducated. Rude is pretty much uneducated. That's all the fella was that came by the camp. He was just uneducated. He did not know how to properly address us. Everybody that comes to camp isn't going to say, oh, great elders, you know what I mean? Or great brothers. Some of them are going to come to camp and just ask their question. We have to be ready for all of that, man. We can't be sitting here yelling and screaming at people because they don't know how to say excuse me. The movie Dangerous Minds had a scene where the student went to the principal for help, and the principal turned them away because he didn't knock on the door properly or whatever, and the kid wound up getting killed. Do you want people to turn away from the truth just because you want them to say excuse me to you? I would rather deal with his rudeness, because it's not intentional usually. Now, if somebody comes and scoffs rudely and interrupts, then you get on their fucking case. Because I have no mercy on scoffers. You come against this faith, you get in the work. You know what I mean? But if you just come by the camp and say, yo, do y'all believe in Jesus? And we can tell that you're not being rude on purpose or disrespectful, then yo, yeah, we believe in Jesus, but we don't call him Jesus, and you go into the edification of it. You know, it's a simple thing. You don't have to, you know, do you stop people in life? Like, yo, I'm talking to somebody. You don't see me talking to somebody? Like, I've seen Israelites be that rude. Oh, you don't see me talking to this person? You know, like I was in my car playing video games, like on an app I have on my phone, and the homeless guy was trying to get my attention. I didn't snap on him and say, yo, you don't see me playing my video? Nigga, this guy's hungry. Last thing he's worried about is your fucking video game. You know, but that's just it, man. I don't want to go too much more into it. It's a simple thing. Israelite camps, you know, there's going to be uneducated, there's going to be rude people that come by the camp. They're not disrespectful, they just don't know no better. They don't know the proper way to you know, it's like a man approaching a woman, right? Sometimes you might find a woman, you think she's cute, you just don't know how to go about talking to her. So you might say something stupid. You know, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person, you're an asshole. Your approach might have been off. You know, but if a woman is looking for a good man, she's going to give you a chance to, you know, say what you really want to say. You know what I mean? So just like with us, you know, everybody doesn't always approach us the way we want to be approached. But it doesn't mean that we need to tell them, hey, when you come up to somebody speaking, you say, excuse me. You know, you say it throughout, you know, throughout your teaching. You know, you speak to them and say, hey, you know, hey, brother, you know, typically when you approach somebody, you should say, excuse me, because, you know, technically you're interrupting them. And the excuse me is, you know, basically you asking forgiveness for your interruption. That's the reason why people say, excuse me, you know, pardon me. I'm sorry for my interruption. That's the history of where excuse me comes from, you know, and you educate them. You don't blast them. You don't be like, yo, you supposed to say excuse me. I remember somebody from One West one time, Comfy in him. He was trying to recruit me, and somebody on the train asked him a question. He was like, do you always just walk up on people and ask them questions like that? Like, really rude. And I was thinking to myself, damn, we do the same shit in the camp that I was with at that time. So I can't even, probably not as rude as he was, but it'd be pretty rude. But we got to remember, man, like I said, our people aren't always educated the right way. What does it hurt you to have a little patience and, you know, like I said, maybe at some point later, educate the brother, like, yo, hey, bro, you know, when you talk to us, sometimes you kind of cut us off, and it's interrupting the spirit, you know. So going forward, you know, we'd appreciate you saying excuse me when you have something to say, you know, because it's the same thing we do to one another in Israel. We cut each other off at camp. You know, like, you don't have, a lot of Israelite camps don't have manners they damn selves, but you expect somebody to come up and ask a question and say, excuse me. Nigga, you rude. Talking about some, say excuse me when you come to the camp. Niggas be rude as fuck to each other. I'm telling you, that's how Israelites are to one another, man. We are very fucking rude. Very rude. And then we expect somebody to approach us with manners. That should just be funny to me, too. We're rude ourselves, but expect people. It's just funny. I've been part of it. I've seen it. Like we curse people the fuck out, but no, you got to talk to me with manners. No, everybody doesn't have manners, but everybody has a spirit. But with that, I'm gonna say shalom, and Lord willing, this was edifying. Don't turn away people just because they don't come approach us the right way. All right, shalom.